Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Live with the Times. Grateful to be here. Grateful for all of you. Today, we will be going over the fourth Aliyah here of Chai Sarah. And really grateful because a lot of times, I'm learning and there's things that just pop out to me. And today, I'm learning and nothing's popping out. Why? Because I think for me, I was wanting to talk about something and we want to find something. You're not finding it. Meaning, if I'm trying to dictate to the Torah what it is that what I should be learning, the Torah is dodging, right? If we're opening ourselves up to the Torah and allowing the Torah to, to have an impression on me, and what is it I need to hear, then there is something worth speaking about, and that's exactly what I ended up finding later on, doing some research and get this amazing. What do you call it? Weekly kind of lessons on the Torah from Rav Elich Biderman. Amazing stuff. You should check it out. Wellsprings of Torah Wellsprings. And so I'm going to summarize a little bit what he said and add my own twist on it as well. That here, in today's Aliyah, what happens? Now, yesterday, Eliezer was praying, and all of a sudden he's there, right? And these miracles happen, and he's thinking, how am I going to find? And all of a sudden I'm praying, and then I'm here, and then all of a sudden I find this girl, and she's doing all the things that I had said the girl should be able to do, and he's all excited. And then today's parsha, right? Rivka comes and takes him back to her house. And who does she meet? Lavon, right? I wanted to find something on Lavon and speak about Lavon, right? Because Lavon is one of the main enemies, antagonists to the Jewish people in all of creation, all the time. Talk about him every single year in the Haggadah. An Aramean rose up to destroy my ancestors. Talking about Lavan, right? Lavan against Yitzchak, even worse, Lavan against Yaakov, right? And he came out, and Rivka brought him to the house, and he runs out thinking that's Abraham Avinu. And he's like, it's just this guy Eliezer. Who is this guy, right? He's a servant. But now he's like pot committed, so to speak, right? As we'll say in poker, right? Already you got the money in the middle, you got to go with the hand already, right? So, but what happens? We see that the Torah does something very odd, that the Torah goes and recounts the entire story again through Eliezer's words, right? Like the Torah spends only a few verses going over Bereshit, going over the creation of the universe, going over all the different things and all the details. Leaves out so many details. There are really no details in Bereshit. It's just like in overall categories and going through overall categories. And then all of a sudden over here, right, what is this? Mishnah Torah? What is this? Devarim with Moshe Rabbeinu going over the whole Torah again, the fifth book of Moshe. He's just going over the whole thing in his own words and his own. That's what's going on, right? That the first part is telling the story of what happened. The second part is Eliezer retelling the story over to Lavan and Bethuel, right? The family of Rivka. And there's something very odd that happens here. And it happens multiple times, but it stands out here, and Rabbi Biderman brings this out, right? That when Eliezer is giving over the story, he changes it slightly. Where Avraham Avinu gave him a blessing, and he told him that Hashem will send an angel before you and clear the whole path. And then when he's retelling the story again, right, to Laban, he says, Hashem, before whom I walked, will send his angel with you and make your way prosper, and you shall take a wife for my son. Right, before he said lefanecha, he will go before you, and now he says itcha, with you. Right, so what gives? Right, it's really because Lavan and Bethuel are these archetypes of people who don't believe in Hashem. And even when there's a huge miracle that is obvious, they still don't believe in Hashem. Right, we had these ballistic missiles being sent over here from Iran, and nothing happened over here. Thank God. And it's a complete miracle. right? If things would have hit, people would have said, oh, I mean, of course. I mean, they're ballistic missiles. And since nothing hit, they say, oh, of course. I mean, look at Israel's defense mechanisms and the technology, right? This is, it's obviously because of the technology that they have. And there's no way it could be Hashem, right? Not even like Hashem is with you. This is like totally not a miracle, right? And this is the mindset of people, right? Where you have to try and convince them. So Eliezer, instead of going and saying, hey, look, Hashem did everything for me, right? What is what Lavon gonna say? He's gonna say, what do you mean he did everything for you? You did it. You had to make okay, you made an oath and you say you're gonna come, but you're the one who had to get on those camels and bring all the money over here, and you had to meet Rivka, and you're the one who did all the work, right? Don't let them think that you didn't do anything. And you see this all the time with people, right? Oh, what do you mean, Hashem? No, you did it, right? And you see over here that they say, oh, come in and wash your feet. And this reminds us of earlier, right, where it says, Avraham Avinu says to the three men, the three angels that come and says, wash your feet. Why? Because he thought that they were idolaters. What kind of idolatry worships the sand on their feet? Right? This is a type of idolatry where they said, hey, listen, I'm walking, the sand on my feet is holy, that I can worship it. Why? Because I walked on it and I did all the work. I walked across the desert and now it's holy, right? The sand underneath my feet is holy because it represents the work that I put into it, right? We know that for sure, that it says that with the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread, right? When it comes to making a parnasa, we have to do something, right? And when it comes to shidduchim as well, right? We have to go on dates. We have to do something, right? Supposedly. And so a person can easily fall into the trap of like, I'm doing it. I did it, right? And we're not supposed to feel that way. The main thing is not about how we feel. The main thing is how we relate to other people, right? Because really with ourselves, okay, we have to know that we have something to do and that we have to put in our hishtadlus. But also it teaches us that we have to talk to people on their level. Really, Eliezer believed for sure that Hashem did everything, right? Really, he's the chassid of the Rebbe. The Rebbe is Avraham Avinu. And really he's working on himself all this time, which is why he's made himself up to be the gabbai over here. And Avraham Avinu is sending him on this amazing mission. Really, it's Hashem sending him on this amazing mission and making him successful the whole way. And he's so excited and retelling it over and again because he's like, do you not see the miracles? But he can't give it over in the way that is unbelievable to the people. He has to talk to them on their level. And a person should always remember this, right? When they are in their interactions with others, not to overextend someone. That Hashem Yitbarach is always giving over Torah. The Torah that we have here says he looked in the Torah and created the world. Is this the Torah Hashem looked? It is the Torah that Hashem looked into, but he masked it, so to speak, right? Rabbi Nachman, he talks about that a person cannot receive the light of Hashem directly, right? Which is why we have all these sefirot that are refracting the light more and more and more. And when you're speaking to somebody, they may not have the kalim to be able to receive it. And so if they don't have the kalim to receive it, what are we doing? Right? We're trying to dress it in garments, right? That Rabbi Nachman used to speak to regular people, people who weren't learned, and would talk about chess and talk about whatever, the weather, and talk about different things that really he didn't care about. But when he was speaking about it, in it was Torah, right? In it was Torah, was hidden Torah in the speech, right? And the same thing with Sibrei Masiyot. There's 13 stories, and they're actually the deep of the depths, right? The deepest deep of the depths of the holiest holy of concepts. And he's talking about like, oh, these ancient things and these trees and these birds and this far off land and this gold castle and all these different concepts that seem like they're children's stories. He's amassing it in there. And when Rebbe Nachman was on his deathbed, the Hasidim were standing around. We have a tradition that the Hasidim were standing around, and they were saying, Rebbe, give us a bracha. You're now towards the end of your life. What do you see? What can you give over to us that we can hold on to? He says, my bracha to you is that you, when I asked you to bring me a cup of water, you understand what I meant by bring me a cup of water. I said, well, that's the bracha? Like, what do you mean? All right, like, what do you think, ignoramus? Says, you think I'm asking you for a cup of water, but actually within that statement, I'm actually giving all kinds of intentions and giving over so much Torah inside of that statement. Right? My blessing to you is that you're going to understand all the kavanah and all the insights that I'm giving to you in what seems as though a mundane statement. And this is really what it is with Hashem, with us too, that we look at the Torah and we look and say, oh, I get it. I got it. And we even go and we look in and we say, oh, I want to talk about this today, or I want to learn about that. Oh, I wonder if, and we have confirmation bias. We're going to go and we're going to look and we're saying, and you can see how the Torah is twisted so many times by people, right? By different religions or even within Judaism, and people just interpreting as it is. This is why we have a tradition, the oral Torah. This is why Lavon represents such a heathen, right? Because he didn't believe in the oral Torah, right? Specifically, and we'll get into those kinds of concepts later on. The Maharan talks about this, but the point is that to learn the oral Torah is to have a connection with the divine. Why? Because oral Torah is Hashem whispering to us, speaking to us directly. Of course, we can read the person's writings, but when the person gives over to you the writings, I remember in the English class, we'd learn a certain book, whatever, certain work of fiction, and we're sitting there in class and have people interpreting what it is that the author meant, and we're like, what, he meant like this, he meant like that, and then sometimes people say things and they sound so nice, they sound very good, and then you hear from the person directly, the author, and he's like, no, I didn't mean any of that stuff, this is what I meant. And we can make up whatever we want. When we have the Torah and the Hashem is speaking to us directly and saying, this is what I meant actually, right? Then we can actually find something. So Hashem is speaking to us directly in a way that we can understand. And so too, we should speak to others too, not to go over people's heads, not to think that we're very wise and we can just, that we should speak in a practical level, talking to each person as they need to be spoken to. The Gemara says, teach each children as he wants to be taught, right? That each child is a different child. Each person is a different person. Each person learns in a different way and needs a different way of giving it over to them. And so we should be zoiche to be excited about the miracles that Hashem is giving to us. And we should be zoiche to be able to give it over to people around us in a way that is acceptable and digestible, in a way that challenges them in a positive way, that allows them to come closer to Hashem without complete rejection, and in a way that really we are seeing ourselves also coming close to Hashem through his oral Torah, through him speaking to us in a way that we can understand, and being able to digest and learn more and more and more Torah in a deeper way, and be able to pray on our Torah and to understand more and more and more. The more effort we put in, the more we're going to get, right? And to see that it's not really our hishtalus at all, that really it's all Hashem. This is really what Hashem was saying over here to Lavon. We think we're so different, we're so disconnected from Lavon, but actually we're just like Lavon, that we want to think it's our hishtadlus, and we have to put our hishtadlus, but we have to realize that our hishtadlus is just part of the show, and it's necessary so that we can get credit for what we do. So know that for sure Hashem loves us so much and giving us so much, and Hashem is really with us and before us. Not just with us, but he's walking before us and clearing the way, that by the time we get anywhere we want to get to, all the things are done. It's just us having to put on the costumes and to learn the lines and to go out there and deliver the lines with passion, with enjoyment, and to really, really, really have fun in this position that all of us have been casted to be the person that you're supposed to be. And all of us should be the person we're supposed to be, achieve our goals. And this way we're going to see the coming Moshiach, Tzidkenu, through happiness, through enjoyment, and the third Beis Hamikdash speedily today, God willing, L'chaim.